We're talking to my man, Kriss Berg, who is a serial entrepreneur for over 20 years. We actually go deep into his entrepreneurial journey. We talk about how he actually lived off the grid for 13 years. He gets into his methodologies with these car washes and how he uses his 3M framework, which are modify, market, and modernize. We're going to be diving in. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee! All right, Kriss Berg, my brother, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast, my man. I am super stoked to rock the mic with you.
Yeah, me too, Kerry. Thanks for having me on, man. This is fun. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, you're a serial entrepreneur. You know, you are someone who has been happy hustling in the game for a minute, 20 plus years to be exact. You're a family man. You're someone who's an outdoorsman, who's big into snowboarding and mountain biking. But you're also just a happy hustler because you figured out how to make more but work less, right? And this whole strategy of just leveraging your time most effectively and efficiently. And I'm really excited to talk about how you have these 7 different businesses, a part of your portfolio company, and how you've been able to nuke a $250K tax bill, right? And so much more. Like it's some pretty cool stuff you're up to. But before we get into that good stuff, Kriss, what's something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
I've had a couple midlife crises, but I had a big one when I was about 32, and me and my girlfriend at the time just left the city. I sold my business and just moved off the grid, and we lived in a solar and wind powered home in the mountains of Colorado for 13 years.
Wow.
And that was a cool experience. We had to be very self-reliant. We were really middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out how to do it. It snowed a lot, and I had to chop 5 cords of firewood every fall. I had to move a lot of snow. I had to, it was mountain man living at its finest, and it taught me a lot about myself. Taught me self-reliance, and it taught me that I was a lot tougher than I thought I was.
Dang, man, that's impressive. Like, a lot of people, they talk about the homestead lifestyle, but you actually lived it, and I'm curious to stay here for a beat because I feel like there's some entrepreneurial gold within that self-reliance wisdom that you acquired. If you had to talk about maybe the number one mistake you made when you were kind of living off the grid, first and foremost, what do you think that would be?
That's a good question. I think probably just self-doubt, really, and lack of confidence at times. I would have a lot of anxiety about things. I learned over the years, 20 years of being an entrepreneur, that worrying is really wasted emotion. There's almost no benefit to it. Anytime I experience anxiety now, I simply turn that into action, and it makes me feel better 100% of the time. And so I spent a lot of sleepless nights wondering like how we're going to make a living, because we're in the middle of nowhere, and how we're going to survive, and then how I was going to rescue the business, how I was going to build the business back up that had just got torn down, and how I was going to provide for kids and all this stuff. And so I think maybe just age, maybe experience just taught me that like all of that was wasted. There was no point in worrying about that stuff. It didn't do me any good. What did me good was the action. So the bias towards action. Instead of just sort of laying around dwelling on things, is just get in, get your hands dirty, get going. Even small little tasks. If you're facing a big problem, break it down into little chunks and get started on solving it. The worrying, the hand wringing, the crying and stuff like that,
Yeah.
in 2010, I had a business. So I was living off the grid with my wife, and I moved up there. I was thinking I was going to be a home builder because I was in construction. I thought I knew how to do that. Well, 2008, 2009, 2010 were the worst times in history to build houses. Like there was
Yeah.
nobody buying houses. And so there were no banks going to finance it. So I ended up reading the 4 Hour Work Week and getting into
Mm.
websites and getting into online businesses. And so I had this solar kit website where we sold solar kits because I was living in a solar powered home. And we were 100% dependent on Google rankings. And in 24 hours, Google just wiped me out. My traffic went down 95%. I had no business. I had nothing. And that was our only source of income at the time. And I remember I laid on the couch for like 72 hours and just like had like a big glass of vodka and just felt sorry for myself and had the worst possible reaction. And then my wife kind of kicked me in the ass with like, well, what are you going to do about this? And
Yeah.
so over the next few months, I built this business back up. This is the very beginning of Facebook. I figured out Facebook traffic. This was the early days of AdWords. I figured out AdWords. And then over the next 6 months, I built this super robust business that didn't depend on Google. Our Google rankings actually came back. And all of a sudden, I had 3 times more revenue by the time I was done with it. So, the old obstacle is the way kind of cliche really applies
Yeah.
here. Like I powered through that. My business was better. I was a better businessman. And so now when big problems come up, I get excited. Especially if they're the really big existential problems, like, oh my God, I don't know if we're going to survive this. I'm like, hell yes, bring it on. Because I know for number one, we'll get through it. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. We will still exist. But we're going to be very different probably afterwards. We'll probably be better too. So that's
Yeah.
something that's powered me through a million ups and downs. And I hope that your audience kind of takes that to heart, that you can get through it. But you just got to get to work.
Yeah, dude. Amen to that. I mean, I want to extract a couple things there. One, like
Yeah.
the traffic side, because
Mm-hmm.
without leads and traffic in a business, you don't really have a business.
No,
It's a
no.
key piece. And I think a lot of people obsess over building the product, even the
Mm-hmm.
systems around servicing the clientele or whatnot. But
Yeah.
then the traffic piece, especially with online businesses, and I know a lot of the happy hustlers out there, they have online businesses and they want that location independence, right? That you and
Yes.
I both have. That's
Yeah.
really like I mean,
The ultimate.
that's like such a key piece for me
Yeah.
and you. We talked about it, but like, being
Yeah.
location independent. But the traffic is such an important piece. When
Yeah.
it comes to traffic, how did you regain that traffic? I mean, you mentioned Facebook ads and you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Google AdWords and stuff like that. But like, if you have any like modern day things that you're seeing working, that you maybe timeless principles too that helped you back then, that still
Yeah.
you utilize today. Is there anything that comes to mind when it comes to traffic?
Yeah. So my online businesses will do about 16 million this year. And
Heck yeah.
almost all the traffic is from affiliates.
Hmm.
And so it's funny because you think of an online business, you think of sort of this digital world where you have this, this ocean of sort of faceless people that you're trying to address. When in fact, most of the traffic, the vast majority of the traffic is from friends or people that I know, that I have made contact with, I have been in a room with, I went to a conference with, I went to a mastermind with these guys.
Yep.
I've slept in the same room with them sometimes. I've skied
Yeah.
with them, all this stuff. All these relationships I've built over the last 20 years of doing this stuff has brought me way more traffic and way more consistent income than any
Hmm.
sort of like Facebook hack or
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
if you tweak this ad or if you tweak your Facebook pixel or something. Like that has always been up and down. I know guys in this business that have gone to 50 million selling supplements and then right back down to 20 million. And you talk about a roller coaster, and they were all dependent on Facebook or
Hmm.
YouTube or
Hmm.
whatever it was. And they got drilled, they had a rough go, that
Yeah.
kind of that kind of roller coaster is really painful, and you end up hiring a lot of people, then you end up firing a lot of people. It's just an ugly scene.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been relationships, the personal one-on-one relationships. So we try to go to live events still. We try to meet people in person. We pick up the phone and call people, even
Yeah.
though it's an online businesses, it's still relationships, man. That's what's helped us more than anything else.
Yeah. No, that's a great response. I mean, affiliates, it almost seems like people kind of, I know there's, we met at a mastermind, Mike Geary's mastermind, right? And,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
shout out to him. But I mean,
Yeah.
which was a great episode. If you guys, he doesn't do many podcasts, but I got him to do one, Chris. You'd be
I'm
surprised,
amazed.
probably.
Yeah.
I
He is
know.
not a podcast guy at all. That's impressive that you got him. Yeah.
I know. I know. He's like the Great White Buffalo podcast, but he's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Totally.
OG on the online
Yeah.
marketing game. And,
He is.
the affiliates like that, I know that circle, that, community is strong in
Mhm.
affiliates, but like, if I feel like if you go outside of that community, like affiliates kind of, they don't get utilized or the credit that they deserve, in my opinion, when you're growing a
No.
business. And it really comes down to
Yeah.
how can you support others, add value, and make it a win-win. Like if someone's going to promote your stuff,
Yeah.
how do you make it a win-win? I do want to,
Yeah.
again, I mean, that's why I love chatting, just authentically with you and people like you. Is like, I didn't plan on going here, but I do want to, go a little deeper in the affiliate game, because I mean, you
Yeah.
literally been able to grow, a massive, you know, online business from
Yeah.
affiliates. So
Right.
just get into the nitty gritty details a little bit. Like if you were
Yeah.
going to structure an affiliate offer, and maybe,
Mhm.
think about something you've done in the past that was effective. Like talk to us a little bit about how you go about setting that up. What's
Yeah.
the breakdown? Do you give them 50%? Do you, how do you reach out? Like just like broad
Yeah.
strokes on like someone who's like, I want to do affiliate. I want to get some affiliates to help promote my thing, my product or service. Maybe Chris can
Yes.
kind of give us some insights.
Yeah. So the first order of business is to completely reframe how you think about this, because most people would say, okay, you have the Happy Hustle podcast over there. Those guys have the Hustler Who Are Happy podcast,
Yeah.
and they would look at that and say, oh, well, you guys are in competition, right?
Mm,
They would say, you guys, you don't want to talk to each other. You don't want to. And in fact, if you can shift your mindset, you two are the perfect partners, right? Your audience is practically the same guys, but your messaging could be a little different. Your products could be a little different. You can work together, right? So you have to drop this thing of competition, that they sell the same product as me, so we're not going to work together.
mm,
Get rid of that, because we sell like CBD products. Some of our best affiliates have their own CBD products, right? They're
interesting.
just a little
Yeah.
bit different. They're for a slightly different health problem, and they have a completely different list. So get rid of this notion that you should be competitive. I can't tell you how many times, even with my physical businesses, we'll get into my real estate businesses now. Even in that business where we really truly are competing with each other, we talk all the time. We trade notes. We talk about, hey, are you going to do this, or I'm going to do that? Hey, I'm trying this. What do you think of this? This notion that, this fenced off, that you got to kind of build a fort and not let anybody in it, is so outdated, and it's going to cost you so much money over the long run. So get rid
Mm,
of that mentality first. And then
yep.
the nitty gritty, it's funny, we were talking about Mike Geary, because he really pioneered this affiliate game where you give the affiliate as much as you possibly can
Yeah.
to simply build your list.
Yeah.
And so it used to be 50-50 was the standard. And then it went 75-25. And now a lot of people are giving you 90%
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
build this list, right? And then market other products to this list. And so the affiliate's really getting almost everything. And then
Mm,
it's up to you to monetize that customer afterwards. So I would say if you can make that work, you have to have kind of a back end, right? If you've got one product, one thing, then 50-50 is probably a good split.
yeah.
Um, but if you've got kind of this robust catalog where you got several offers, I would give affiliates as much as you can on the front end,
Yeah.
and then monetize on the back. That's really the real win-win, because then that affiliate says, holy cow, I'm making so much money promoting your stuff. I'm going to promote only your stuff, and I'm going to
Yeah.
promote it more often. Instead of once a month, I'm going to promote it
Yeah.
twice a week or something, and
Yeah.
that's where the money gets really serious.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I just want to echo a point there. So if you have like a single product, you need to create back end offers to really increase the customer
Yeah.
lifetime value, essentially.
Yes.
And
Yep.
if you can give away as much as you possibly can on the front end to win the customer, build your list, and then you
Yes.
can market on the back end, other products and services. I'm just curious, do you give a percentage of those back end offers after they're on your list typically? Like, do you cookie that person and
No,
then,
no, but we give as much as we can up front. So,
okay.
for our health offers, what we call the CPA, the cost per acquisition, which is basically the commission, sometimes it's $140, $150 for every customer, for one customer. I'll pay
Yeah.
them $150. Now, there's other people who are getting, like a $5,000 coaching client. They may pay $3,000 or $4,000 for that customer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's all over the map. But yeah, you got to decide what works for you, what works for the partner. It's a collaborative process, but we're all about giving the affiliate as much as they can so they will promote us as often as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great insights. I mean, I don't want to, spend too much longer here, but do you put your
Yeah.
stuff on ClickBank? Are you on that
Yeah,
platform
we
as
do have
well?
stuff on ClickBank. Um, we mostly do it through our internal. We have an internal affiliate system called Has Offers, which is
Yep.
essentially basically just affiliate software, right? Um, so we do a little bit of both, but we are at ClickBank events a lot, and we do quite a bit with it. We promote a lot of ClickBank offers.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah,
So I do want to get into the meat and potatoes of how we can secretly, maybe not even so secretly because you're quite public about it, but nuke our
yeah,
tax bill, right? And just like say
yeah.
goodbye to it. Like, I mean, it sounds like you're doing something like that you shouldn't be, but really
Right,
this is what
right.
all
It
the
sounds
wealthy
illegal.
people do.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Right? So give
they
us
really
give
do.
us give us the secrets to kiss your tax bill goodbye, Chris.
Okay, so I'll tell you. I'll give you the backstory real quick. So I have these
Yeah.
online businesses, and I've really got them outsourced and really just sort of humming, so that they don't take a ton of my time. They take probably 30 hours a week on average. And so for the last few years, I've been looking for kind of a side hustle, right? Something to sort of flex my creative muscle on, and something fun, and something that would generate some income, right? And so I tried crypto trading, I tried Amazon FBA businesses, I tried a bunch of different stuff, and it just I don't know, it didn't feel good, and I sucked at it, to be honest. And so a couple of years ago, I hooked up with a friend of mine here in town, and our wives are like best friends. And he was like, "Yeah, we should do some real estate stuff." And I was like, "Okay." I had done residential real estate, and it was a pain in the ass. The whole tenants trash toilets thing is totally true. It was a nightmare. I hated it.
Yeah.
But he was talking about commercial properties. I'm like, okay. So we looked at self storage places, and we thought, okay, maybe we buy a self storage unit, blah blah blah. And we just couldn't find anything for sale, not a fit. But in the process of that, we met this commercial real estate agent, and he said, "You should check out this car wash." I didn't know anything about car washes. I had no predilection towards them. I was like, sure, whatever. I looked at it. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't know how to value it. I was trying to value like normal businesses. Like you and I look at a business like online for sale, and you're thinking it's 3 times earnings, right?
Yeah.
It's 3 times profit, essentially. Well, this place was 10 times profit. I'm like, this is a rinky-dink little car wash. What are you talking about? Well, finally I figured out, I started learning, and I was very active on Twitter with all these real estate guys, and they're like, well, that's because the real estate's included. This real
Yeah.
estate's a real asset. And if the car wash goes under, you put a coffee shop on it or something. You put a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A or something on it.
Yeah.
And so what I realized over time was that 10x multiplier goes both ways. You pay it, but then you can get it when you sell too. So every dollar in profit you add $10 in value. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, this is really cool. So we bought the car wash, and I was like, we'll figure this out. I have no idea what I'm doing. My partner had no idea what we're doing. And it turned out to be just this most simple business I'd ever approached. The online stuff was fairly complex. We had to make these
Yeah.
formulas for the
Yeah.
supplements. You had to figure out traffic. You had to work with affiliates. You had to have all these bells and whistles on the website to get it to work. But the car wash, people just show up and they wash their car and they leave.
Yeah.
And the first one we bought, it wasn't on Google Maps. It wasn't, they had done nothing to it. They hadn't raised the rates on it in 12 years. So day one, we set up Google Maps. We give it a bunch of 5-star ratings from of course, me and our friends.
Yeah.
We raised the prices. So we instantly added 30% to the value of the place because the revenue went up that much day one, right? And then we just offered the customers a better experience. We improved the soap. We improved the card readers. Just people started showing up in droves because our car wash actually worked. A lot of these, and it's just self-serve, and it's like 3 self-serve bays, and then on one side there's an automatic. It's touch-free automatic.
Yeah.
We just made sure everything worked, and people started showing up in droves. We would have lines on Saturday because most of these car washes were ignored, right? They're shitty, to be frank. They're crappy car washes. We uncrapified it. So that we got an opportunity to buy another one last year. We bought another one. So December 28th rolls around of 2022, just last year. And I email my accountant at late December every year, and I'm like, what's the damage? How much do I owe?
Yeah.
What is the tax man getting this year? And normally it's painful. It's usually $200,000 to $300,000. Okay. She emails back an hour later. She says, nada, zero. In fact, you're getting your quarterly payments back, because we made quarterly payments throughout the year. All of those are coming back to you. And I was like, what? Picked up my phone. I was calling. I was like, I think you're talking to the wrong guy. This is Kriss Berg, the guy with the online businesses. I just bought a couple car washes. Like, what's my tax bill? And she's like, these car washes are a huge tax shelter. So let me explain. There's a rule that was created in 2017 under Trump's administration, basically allowing for accelerated depreciation. It's called bonus depreciation. I won't take you through the boring parts of this. What it means is that you can take a huge write-off on these places. And it just so happens, pure luck, that a car wash is the perfect place for this. Because on most real estate, if you bought a self-storage unit, you would have to be a real estate professional to actually get the tax break. You would have to be a broker, or you'd have to be a full-time real estate person to get the tax break. But a car wash is simply an active business with a ton of assets. The building, all the improvements on the lot, all the equipment inside, you can depreciate all of it in year one. And so we had a $750,000 write-off because of these 2 car washes. It nuked my entire tax bill. It was just gone.
Whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
And like I said, I got those quarterly payments back. Now this year, instead of 100% bonus depreciation, it's actually 80%, and it's phasing down over the next few years. But Congress keeps saying they're going to renew this thing, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is I paid zero in taxes last year, the federal and the state level.
Wow.
And we've got one under contract right now. The plan is to do the same thing this year. And it's been an incredible investment, Carrie. So check this out. I put in $250K into the car washes last year, nuked a $250,000 tax bill, right? So I
Yeah.
already have my money back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything is gravy from now on. I've made 150% on my investment
Yeah.
in a year and a half. And
Wow.
these car washes are just simple operations. You improve the customer experience, you improve the ratings, you raise the prices. I mean, we almost doubled the value of the first property in a year and a half. We're about up 20% on the second property. We're going to buy another one here in November. We've got a plan to do that. So now we have a plan to scale this operation out, and our hope is to have 20 car washes in the next 10 years. And it only takes me 5 hours a week to do that.
Yeah.
So a little bit more when we're on the deal. When we're under contract right now, I'm probably more like 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
At times 20 hours a week, when there's a closing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. It's stupid simple.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it. I'm still kind of pinching myself like, dude, there's got to be a guy here, like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
the big shoe that's going to drop. But it's just been a fantastic investment and the perfect side hustle.
Wow. All right. Lots to unpack here. I mean,
Yeah.
and
I kind of went off there.
well, no, you're good, man. Like you mentioned something. One, like I typically work about 20 hours per week. So anything I do, I put it up against how much time is this going to take? So
Yes.
I love that you mentioned the actual output on your end. And obviously
Yep.
like up front, it's more
Yeah.
capital intensive and time intensive, right? But
Yep.
I think there's so many pros, especially if you can get 10x value on
Mm-hmm.
profit versus normal 3 to 5x, right? On a recon
Yes.
biz. I mean,
Yep.
that's exciting. Now,
Yeah.
just to be clear, like one thing that when I was learning about you in the strategy, not learning about you, but like you doing this strategy,
Yeah.
you are specifically talking about the self-serve car washes, which is a segment
Yes.
within car washes, right? Not
Yes.
like the big full out like automated ones, correct?
Yeah. So what happened when this tax rule came into play? All these big players, and I'm sure your listeners have noticed, like there's all these car washes being constructed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so those are what you call a tunnel or an express wash, where you drive up, you say hi to the guy, or you wave your phone around or whatever, and you go on a conveyor belt, and it pulls your car through
Yeah.
this big process with all the brushes and everything. That operation, just to build it's $6 or $7 million.
Yeah.
But these companies are going out and doing it, taking advantage of the tax advantages and building them like crazy. And it's probably going to be saturated, if not already,
Yeah, it's pretty
very
saturated
soon.
here in Montana, at least.
Yeah.
At
So if it's
Bozeman, in
saturated in
Bozeman.
Montana, it's probably saturated everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So nothing against Montana. I'm just saying,
No,
I'm
I
just
know, I
saying,
hear
but
you.
yeah, you know how it is. Like California and Florida, those places, they get super
Yeah.
saturated right away. So we are actually targeting a completely different market because
Hmm.
there are a ton of cars, especially in Montana, that can't
Yeah.
go through a tunnel, right?
True. Yeah.
Our customers love their lifted trucks.
Yep.
They are contractors who have a bed full of stuff in the back of their truck. They're
True.
pulling trailers with UTVs and ATVs and motorbikes
Yep.
and campers,
Yep.
RVs. Anybody
Yep.
with a ski rack or a bike rack? I mean, is there anybody like that in Montana? I don't know. I haven't been there in a
Pretty
while.
much everybody.
So those are our customers. Those are
Yeah.
our jam, and they cannot go. They will never be able to go through a tunnel wash. There is no tunnel wash that can handle those vehicles. So
True.
we're very blue collar. There's also sort of a dumbbell thing where people who really care a lot about their cars and don't want a brush to touch it. Right? There's people who are
Yeah.
religious about
Yeah.
touch-free automatics, and that's what we have in the automatic bays, where the only thing that touches your car is the water and the chemicals. There's no brushes at all. So we're targeting a very different segment that is not being built like crazy. The last time we've seen a self-serve bay car wash in with an automatic in it be built was like 3 years ago in our region. There are no plans
Mm.
for other ones. There are tunnels going up left and right.
Yep.
But
Yep.
in fact, a lot of places are tearing them down to put in tunnels, you know. So
Yeah.
we're very bullish. There's a ton of these properties that are just neglected because somebody somewhere along the way bought it 20 years ago, treated it like a passive asset that
Yeah.
they wanted to ignore, essentially. Just go, everybody thinks you just show up, pull the quarters out, and you go home, you know, with this big bucket of quarters or whatever.
Yeah.
If you treat it like that, your customers are going to treat it like that too. We
Yep.
have attendants on site that help people. So there is some employees involved, but they're great. We have an endless supply of employees because we love what we call the old duffer, the guy who's 50, maybe 60 years old. He's got a retirement. He worked for the school district for a while, or he was in the military or something, and
Yeah.
he's bored, right? He just
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
income, and he wants a low stress job. This is as low stress as it gets, and it's just easy work. And so anytime we need somebody, we actually go into the bays. We talk to the regular customers, say, "Hey, you want a job?" That's how we got our. And but yeah, and now he's a reliable employee, so it's been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of like three that I know are neglected that I'm going to go knock on their door after this conversation, or at least give them a
Yeah,
call. And then I'm
yeah,
going to call you and be like, you want in
yeah.
this, bro?
Well, I'll help you too. I will help you. So
Yeah,
I
man.
broke down. If you go on my Twitter feed and go into my highlights, and I'm Kriss Berg
Yeah.
tweet, but it's just when you go into Twitter, just search for car wash guy. You'll see my face, big yellow background. I
Yeah.
did a breakdown of a car wash I found in Texas. It's right outside of Dallas. It was for sale. I forget what the price was, but I think it was like 1.1 million or something. But they didn't even take credit cards, which 3/4 of our business is credit cards. Okay,
Yeah.
the average ticket for a person who's plunking in quarters is 236. The average person who swipes a credit card is 950. So the instant you put in credit cards, you could double that business.
Yep.
They weren't on Google Maps. Again, like if you were to drive these neighborhoods and ask people, "Hey, where's the closest car wash?" People wouldn't even know about that place, right?
Yeah.
People are so tunnel vision now. I mean, they're staring at their phone most of the time when they're driving anyway, right?
Yeah.
They
So
probably
true.
don't even know that place exists. So
Yeah.
I estimated that you could double that business probably in 6 months with minimal effort. And I guarantee there's one in Bozeman, and I guarantee there's a bunch of them where your listeners live. And
Yeah.
it's a cool little side hustle. It's very, very lucrative, and the tax benefits are off the hook.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to spend all our time on car washes because I'm fascinated. I feel
Yeah,
like we need to like do like a master class on this for the Happy Hustle Club guys, though. I might have
I
to
would be happy
bring
to.
bring
Yeah,
you into our guest guru
yeah,
trainings, and then we can maybe
I would love
release it
to.
to people. But you do a lot
Yeah,
of other side hustles. Like you have a couple of them that I want
yeah,
to talk about too. Let's get into some of those other side hustles. Maybe some people out there are like, Chris, I'm not really stoked on the car wash game, but maybe something
yeah,
else. What
yeah.
are the other ones you're involved in?
So I have quite a few. Okay, let's break it down. My main business is the supplement stuff. Okay, so that's about 30 hours a week. And
Hmm.
then about a few years ago, my partner and I started a newsletter business. This is not. I actually have a personal newsletter, Side Hustle Central, but
Hmm.
this is a newsletter business. We have 800,000 subscribers. We send, I think it's
Nice.
10 million emails a week. Um,
Wow.
that is really news. It's straight up news, political news mainly, like what's going on in DC. Um, it's aimed at the conservative crowd who are very, very passionate about their news.
Yep.
And so that one takes probably 5 hours a week. That one gets me a paycheck of about right now it's like 10K a month. Should be 20K a
Nice.
month in by January or so because the election year comes up and your
Oh
income
yeah.
skyrockets when that's going on.
Oh, I bet.
And then I invested in a financial newsletter company. It's kind of like a stock picker service,
Mm.
but similar model in that you're bringing leads in and then you're trying to convert them to buy something, and then you monetize them with advertising other offers as well.
Hmm.
That one I don't take a salary out of, but it's also that's actually probably like 2 hours a week. Um, Then I have an event company. This is kind of random. Your crowd might enjoy this. we do we do psychedelic retreats. So we go to a little cabin somewhere, and we have somebody administer psilocybin, MDMA, LSD, and they get you to, we call it breakthrough, and they get you to break through mental hangups. Some people have trauma. Some people, we have war veterans there who have, very serious
Hmm.
PTSD, and these treatments are doing really, like in one evening we can do about what you'd get out of like 2 years of normal just
Oh
talk
yeah.
therapy.
Yep. Yep.
So that's a really cool company. And then the car wash thing. And then I'm probably forgetting something. I have my personal newsletter, sort of my personal brand, if you want to call it that.
Hmm.
Car wash guy on Twitter, and I'm building a newsletter business out of that has about, I think I'm right about 5,000 subscribers, and that is monetized by my course at taxfreecashcow.com, where I'll give you the whole breakdown on the car wash side hustle. So
Yeah.
that's all of them for now.
That's a lot, dude. That's a lot.
That's a
There's a
lot.
lot going
Yeah.
on there. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned that link. I mean, I'm sure there's people who are like, all right, Chris knows what he's talking about. I need to get some more info here.
Yeah.
Where do people go? You mentioned, I think it's taxfreecashcow.com, right? And what do they get when they're there?
Okay, so I will walk you through. I have a video there of me taking you to a car wash and showing you what this is all about, and I'm showing you the typical crappy car wash that we are uncrapifying. And if you want the course, $300, and what it'll take you is for finding, buying, and running your first car wash. So I'll tell you how to find the deals. Some are listed, some of them are not. You can find off-market deals that are great, and then I'll teach you about the financing, how to underwrite or how to evaluate a deal so that you make sure you're getting a good deal. I have spreadsheets. You plug in the purchase price, you plug in your financing. I'll tell you how to find financing. That's the great thing about commercial real estate is there's banks falling all over themselves to loan for real estate, right? If you go after a business loan, they're like, I don't know, dude. They're going to give you a proctology exam, and they're probably still going to say no, right?
Yeah.
But with commercial real estate, they're like, hell yes. Who do we write the check to?
Yeah.
Um, and then once you close the deal, I'll teach you our methods. We call it the 3 M's: modify, market, and modernize. How to upgrade these car washes so that you can double your income, double the value of them, and I'll teach you about the tax benefits and all this stuff. So it's basically everything you need. And then you can also book some time with me. I'll walk you through. I actually, about half of my students book an hour with me for consult, and we just go through a deal. They show me a car wash deal, and they say, I point out the blind spots. I say, this is the questions you need to answer. This is what you're going to have to do to get financed. And we've actually helped at least 2 guys buy car washes, and they're owning them
Heck
now.
yeah.
One guy doubled the value of his in 8 months just with our playbook, because it was almost closed. Like it had basically two of the bays didn't even work. He put
Mm.
in about, I think he put in about 20 grand to get those going, and now that place is worth, I think, $700,000. I think he paid 350 or
Whoa.
something like that.
Whoa.
Now he worked harder on that place, but
Yeah.
he's made a lot of money. So
Yeah.
it was well worth his time. Now he's ready to do another one. So
Mhm.
that's the
Cool.
course, and we'll get rave
Yeah.
reviews. And I tell everybody, if you don't like it, and if this isn't your jam, like you get the course and you're just not happy, just email me. I'm just going to give you your money back. Like, my reputation is worth way more than $300. So
Yep.
if you don't like it, you get your money back. That's it.
Dude, love that guarantee. I got a happiness guarantee similar. And
That's
it's
awesome.
just, I think that's the way to do it with business is like your reputation is everything. But
Yeah.
I do like that you have IP, like framework, modify, market, and modernize.
Yes.
That's like for me, the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler. I think everyone needs to have IP
Yes.
in their business model. Like,
Yes.
bar none, you need to spend the mental capital and put it towards creating IP because
Yes.
that's really what you can leverage and that's what makes it sticky too. Like that's what
Yes.
you can like actually help people achieve X result is when you have clear IP and frameworks to support the transformation,
Totally.
right? So this was great,
Totally.
man. I mean, I recommend everyone go check out taxfreecashcow.com, even if you're not like sure. I mean, you
Yeah.
heard the guarantee; it's kind of a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
check it
Well,
out, guys.
and that's the thing is that this model that we're doing, it can be applied to a lot of different stuff. Like I know guys
Oh,
applying that
so
to
yeah,
self-storage. I know
yep,
people, a guy in Georgia who's applying it to gas stations and like convenience stores.
yep,
It's sort of timeless. It's sort of just the classic like fix and flip mentality, except we don't sell it. We just hold it. So
yeah,
it's not complex, but we'll walk you through all the little nuances that'll just
yeah.
make it 10 times easier.
Dude, love it. Let's talk about some of my more traditional happy hustle questions that I like to
Yeah.
ask. These are happy hustle hacks, will you? Like a tip, a tool, a tactic in a specific arena. First being
Hmm.
health. Like I know health's a priority for you. You're an outdoorsman, you
Yeah.
get after it. You still are ripped. I don't even know how old you are,
Thanks.
but you still got it going on, man.
48.
And how old?
48.
Dude, good for you, man.
Thanks, man.
But let's talk about health. Do you have like a happy hustle hack when it comes to health that you could share? Something that you do that's a little unique, maybe that we could share with the listeners.
Yeah. So, this is kind of a weird one if you want to be honest, but I think there's an application for everybody. So I bought one of these Facebook VR headsets.
Hmm.
I am not a gamer at all, and like my son shows me his Minecraft and stuff. I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't I don't really want anything to do with that. But I play along with him. But I bought this thing, and it is a fantastic meditation tool. And I was the kind of guy who tried meditation and mindfulness routines for years, and I sucked at it. Like I have monkey brain, right? Like every entrepreneur, especially serial entrepreneurs, it's like I have like 6 or 7 businesses. Like it's just.
Yeah, yeah,
So what I like to do now is what I call air gap my day. So the first part of this is don't open a bunch of loops at the end of the day. What I used to do is around 5 o'clock or whatever, I would fire off like 10 emails. How's this doing? Where are we at with this? When is this
yeah,
going to be done? When can I expect this? And I would just do this blast. And then for the
yeah,
rest of the evening, phone's dinging. I'm like, oh, they got back to me, and it puts all this pressure on your people too, to be like, oh, now I've got to answer, even though if it's
yeah,
maybe it's
yeah.
8 o'clock at night for some of them or whatever it is. And so I just stopped doing that. I started scheduling those emails to go out the next morning. If they were on my
Mm,
mind, I had to get it off my mind. You can schedule emails in Gmail and a lot of these clients. So now if I have to do that, I don't open those loops at the end of the day. I
mm,
air gap it by putting on this VR headset. And there's an app called Trip, which is basically sort of an immersive mindfulness routine. But you can
mm.
do it with a lot of different things. You can do it with the Calm app. There's the Mesmerize app, which is sort of kaleidoscopic things. I need something visual. If I just sit there with a voice in my ears and my eyes closed, my mind's gone. It's on the
Yeah,
next day. It's on what am I supposed to be doing with the kids right now? Like, I
yeah.
need visual that sucks me in. And so the Mesmerize app has done that for me. So, but 15 minutes a day of this after work, before family, makes me so much happier. I'm so much more patient with my kids. I'm so much more present with my wife.
Mm,
And it sounds like cliched advice. So many people say this, but I talk to so many entrepreneurs who can't turn off the monkey mind.
mm-hmm.
They're crushing it in business, but they're not there. Like they're
Yeah.
in the room with their wife and their kids, but they're not there. Their mind is
Mm,
over there. Their mind is in the office. And
yep.
if you can air gap, and what I've found anyway, is that I'm way more productive during the day, and
Yep.
my ideas, my creativity is so much there because I have set it aside. I'm not thinking
Yeah.
about business 24/7. I can I can put my arm out and say that's for tomorrow. I can deal with
Yeah.
that tomorrow. Right now I'm going to be with my kids. And I realized I was being kind of grumpy with them because I'd be thinking about business and my dad, my son's tugging on my sleeve. Hey, let's go play hide and seek. Let's go play hide and seek. And I'd be kind of annoyed. like hide and seek. I'm trying to build an empire here, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
And I realized that wasn't help. That's not all he wanted was my presence. And I wasn't
Yeah.
present. I was present physically, but not mentally. So I think air
Mm.
gap is a huge hack for me.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gold, man. I mean, that's actually something I talk a lot about, which is, people right now are not present. And one of the
Yeah.
biggest principles, arguably the biggest in our happy hustling, um, framework is you must give equal importance to each of the 10 alignments, but focus on one at a time. And that means
Right.
when you're with your family, you're not thinking about work. And when you're at work, you're not thinking about your family. Like when I'm rocking the mic with Kriss,
Right.
I'm wholeheartedly fully here. And
Yes.
when I'm on date night with my wife or volunteering
Yes.
with Rotary Club or whatever it is, like I'm there, and that's I
And
think
there,
where most
here.
people lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
really like that tactical thing with the air gap and especially using like a VR headset and like having that visual because I'm in the same boat. Like I got the monkey
Yeah.
mind too, something fierce. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's great,
It's
man.
rough, right? Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
the other
Well,
side of that
oh, go ahead.
is deep work during the day is noise canceling headphones,
Yep.
music, and I'm blocking the family out, right? Because
Mm,
I work from home. You probably do too.
yeah.
Now that you
Yep.
got a kid, you
I
hear that
know.
baby screaming, whoa, you're gonna get pulled back in. So I lock down during the day and it's nothing but work. And that's the other side of that.
Yeah.
And that makes you more
That
productive.
is. Yeah, yeah, great call on that. Let's talk about money. I know we talked about, eliminating tax bills,
Yeah.
through car washes as a vehicle. However,
Yep.
I am curious just, in terms of money, like I see money as an energy, right? It's a frequency. It makes you more who you
Yep.
truly are, right? But
Yeah.
it's not everything, but it's definitely a part of, being a happy hustler. And I'm curious
Definitely.
for you if you have anything specifically that you do to like maybe save or spend or invest wisely or something
Mhm.
that we haven't talked about that's a little unique maybe when it comes to money that you can share that's a happy hustle hack.
Yeah. Just automatic investing. So every month, I buy $3,000 worth of Bitcoin and I buy $3,000 worth of the S&P 500. And then I squirrel another, we're going to put in a pool in our yard. So I put another 5,000 into a savings account. And so
Mm,
just, there are many, many months when I just forget that that happens.
yeah.
And I'll look at my bank account. I was like, oh my God, things are kind of low. But then it occurs to me, we're paying, we're investing, we're
Yeah.
scrolling away for this huge fun thing that the family's going to love, right? And it's going to improve the
Yeah.
value of our home. So just automatically, there's a great book. I think it's called Profit First, where you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
carve out.
Mike
Have you read it?
McCallowitz. He's coming on the podcast next month actually. That's cool that you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
great. Hit that
Yeah.
book and I think it's called the Pumpkin Plan. Um, Fantastic for
Haven't
young
heard of that
business
one.
owners.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
pick that
it's
out.
the same guy. It's the Pumpkin Plan, but it's basically focusing on the most profitable thing you do. Focus in business, and it's a
Yep.
fantastic book. But yeah, just carving off your profit and paying yourself, and then investing that automatically, magically, things will just work. You know, it will. It won't take care of a business that's not profitable, but
Yeah.
all of a sudden, just taking some off for yourself, it's going to make you feel better. I know so many business owners that delayed gratifications and aren't paying themselves because they're waiting for some magical time. The sooner you can start paying yourself on a regular basis and squirreling that away, investing automatically is going to help your mental state so so much that I think you got to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, yeah, great call on that. I definitely hear you. I mean, this is just I'm out of my own curiosity. What do you use to automate it? Are you using just like your banking app, or do you have like
Yeah,
a
just the
software?
bank automated. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
automated banking, just do it. Whatever, shoot a little bit higher than you think you can afford.
Yeah.
And if you just keep working that you'll grow into it, right? You'll be able
Yeah.
to. And of course you're just investing it. So if you really need the money, it's there. But
Yeah.
yeah, just automated through the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also use Acorns. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but
Yeah,
Acorns
I
is
have heard of that.
it's that takes money from my account and I actually can automatically invest it into the S&P 500, or you
Nice.
could set your risk tolerance.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that's, and then Garrett, you know Garrett Gunderson, don't you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I love Garrett.
yeah,
Good dude.
Garrett's the man. He came out for the last Montana Mastermind, but he got me into cash value life insurance. I don't know what your take is, but like I have
You know,
stuff that
I do it
automates
too.
towards that. Yeah.
Yep, I got sold on it too. I have so many there's so many people that hate it, right? That just think,
Hmm.
"Oh, it's the biggest waste of money." I don't know. I do
Yeah.
$500 a month for me, $500 a
Yeah.
month for my wife. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's another investment. Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah. Same. Yeah, that's like I got
Yeah.
that stuff set up. But I just think automating, like just
Yeah.
eliminate that brain power that's required and just set yourself up for success with little
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
Um, are you paying your kids? I'm wondering if is that part of your
We
strategy
actually
too?
do, yeah, because,
Yeah.
there's an allowance for that, we use them as a
Yeah.
model or something for the
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, it's not a lot, but, and then my wife gets paid through the business. She actually has like a 401k. There's all these having a
Yeah.
great accountant and a great
Yeah.
attorney is essential for all of this stuff. And I resisted that for years, thinking I could
Yeah.
figure it out or they didn't really earn their money. Oh my God. Once I
Yeah.
got over that, my accountant has she doesn't charge me that much. Whatever she is, she should be charging me a lot more because she's awesome. Finding a really good one is hard, but once you do,
Yeah.
they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, dude. So true. So true on that. Um, let's talk about spirituality. I'm
Yeah.
curious you know, if you have a take here. Like for me, I'm very spiritual. I'm not religious, right?
Yeah.
I believe in a
Same.
higher power. Like
Me
I
too.
I think it's so important to have faith in something bigger than yourself. And I think
Yeah.
all the happy hustlers need to have that too. Do you
Yeah.
have a way that you connect to a higher power, something that you do that maybe you could share as a happy hustle hack when it comes to
Yeah.
spirituality?
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be weird, but part of that is through my air gapping, through the mindfulness training. I
Okay.
do talk to God. I have a higher power. It doesn't
Nice.
follow any particular dogma. There's no person or anything that's involved with that. It's not Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad, but I believe in their higher power. I feel like I've been touched by a higher power at times, been guided at
Yeah.
times. And
Yeah.
so my ritual is just gratitude. Most of all, is just so
Right
thankful
on. Yeah.
for the gifts that I've gotten. That's the number one thing for me. And then just spreading goodness. Like, the car washes sound silly, right? It seems dumb. But I think if we can just do a little bit to improve, we're going to uncrapify this place. We're going to clean cars, like just making the world a better place. It sounds silly. It's dumb. With our supplement business, we get emails every day from people like, this changed my life. This
Yeah.
I can like we literally have people who are not using canes anymore or got up out of wheelchairs because of the pain products we sell. So that kind of goodness, and hanging out with guys like you and learning how we can spread our impact. That's my spirituality. My church is outdoors.
Yep.
I live close to the national parks of southern Utah. I feel very spiritual there. I get out there as much as I possibly can. That is my temple if I had one. And so
Yeah.
spirituality for me is just an acceptance of everyone else's beliefs. I think there's probably truth in everybody's belief. It can be interpreted a thousand ways, but I respect their ability and their right to do that. And man, be you. Just let's just all be good to each other. That's my only thing. I feel it especially in our psychedelic retreats. I think that
Hmm.
they're chemicals, but these natural chemicals can break down barriers that we build that
Yeah.
allow us to talk to God and our higher power, and they do that for me. So
Yep.
my practices are a little weird and a little different, but I feel very spiritual about them, and I feel like they've guided me to live a very good life.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I subscribe to pretty much all that. I mean, I don't do much like, I did some ayahuasca down
Hmm,
in Costa Rica at Rhythmia. We did
nice.
that, 4 ceremonies, and that was powerful. And I've done psilocybin, I've done all the things. I just don't feel called to do it now. I feel like I'm at a pretty good place,
Good,
but
good.
I do tell people, like, if you feel called to like explore and especially heal and like,
Yes.
like connect in a different way. Like I agree, like some of those plant medicines and some of those modalities, you can like literally go through sometimes like 5, 10 years of therapy,
Yes.
talk therapy in like a night or a
Yeah.
ceremony or a week
Yes.
of doing it and being intentional about it. It's not like a party by any means. Let's be
No.
honest. It's
Yeah,
work,
absolutely.
you know.
It's work. It's
So
work, and I
yeah,
mean, guys go through this, and one guy, he vomited for about 10 hours,
yeah,
and it's called the purge. And sometimes you just got to do that,
yep,
and it is not fun, but they
yeah.
feel a lot better afterwards.
Yeah, and same thing, dude. The wilderness is my church, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm right there with you on that.
awesome, man. We
And
got to hang
yeah,
more.
I know we got to get after it together in the wilderness, man. You should
Yeah.
come skiing sometime this winter, man. We'll come
Oh, I love
rip it
that.
up, or
I
yeah.
know. I know.
Um,
My kids are finally now getting back into snowboarding. We kind of took a break for it, but I'm so
yeah,
excited to get back into it. So I'm all about winter this year.
heck yeah. Well, this has been phenomenal, man. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your time.
Yeah, you
I
too,
do want
man.
to.
Thank you.
Dude, this is awesome. I do want to put you through the rapid fire round, and this is just
Okay.
more for my own, personal pleasure. I always like to hear what people have to say right off the
Okay.
cuff. So,
Okay.
let's get into it. This is just
Yeah.
like random things that I ask you, and you answer first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Mexican. Anything Mexican.
Favorite movie?
Goodfellas.
Favorite book?
Oh, business book. Ready, Fire, Aim. That's kind of a lame
Mm,
one. Um, favorite book.
that one works. It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't have a good one, like a life-changing one. I've yet to find one that changed my personal life. So go ahead,
Maybe
keep going.
your book. You need to write one, man. You're due.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. What's
Tempting.
your spirit animal? What's your spirit animal?
Um, probably the leopard, because they're very versatile. They live in a lot of different environments,
Mm,
and they're total badasses. And they can change, like they can fit in, like they're camouflaged,
mm.
but they can fit in a lot of different environments, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, right on. Best business advice.
um, Problems are not a part of your business. Problems are your business. Your business exists to solve your customers'
Mm,
problems, and to do that, you need to solve your own problems. So don't get hung up on problems. You are there to solve them. That is your job.
mm. Boom. Three things you're most grateful for.
My wife, my kids, my health.
Yeah. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on it, what's that billboard read, Chris?
It sounds lame, but I'd say be nice to each other. Like all this, especially now, with war and stuff going on. I really feel like if um, we could understand each other better, and it sounds really peacenik, but I just feel like uh, we've got ourselves separated in these tribes. And one things that the psychedelics really could do is that to break down these constructs that we've built, and you just see that, like, we're all very, very similar.
Yeah.
We're 99.9% similar, and there's this little piece that our parents have taught us, or our religion has taught us, or something has sort of covered us. If we kind of take these veils off, we can see each other, that we're all the same. And
Yeah.
um, all of this shit would go away if we could just realize that.
Mm. Amen to that, man. Crush that rapid fire round, Chris. And man,
Okay.
brother, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you for just sharing your love, your
Yeah,
light,
man.
your wisdom,
Thank you.
just speaking unapologetically as yourself, and just talking about like the car wash business. I find it very interesting. I hope the happy hustlers do too. And
I hope so
just like
too. It's weird. It's a
you
weird
know
subject.
it is, but but just your entrepreneurial journey and how you balance your life, and really
Yeah.
prioritize your family, and you know
Yeah.
your well-being. I just admire it. So I just want to thank you. So appreciate you, man.
Well, I love your movement here. The happy hustler thing is awesome, and just being around you, I totally I get it, and I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing because people need to hear this message.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, I know after I burnt out as an entrepreneur, I felt like there had to be a better way. So
Yeah,
um, we're creating it. And now we're teaching people how to do it too. So
good.
I've recently stumbled upon the definition of happy hustling, and it's harmonizing ambition and well being. That's really
Love
it.
that. That's it.
And so
Yeah,
that's really like what we're up to. So thank you
I
for
love.
being a part of it.
Yeah,
Where
man.
can people go again to just find out more about you, follow you online? I know your
Yeah,
Twitter rocks. Give us some links.
yeah. So Twitter, just search on Twitter for Car Wash Guy. You'll see my face with the yellow background. And then if you want to dig in more to the side hustle thing, go to taxfreecashcow.com. And I on my Twitter profile, I promote my newsletter as well. So you can check out the newsletter there and see if it's your jam. That's all free. I talk about a lot of different side hustles that are lucrative and not too time consuming because time is very important to me. I don't want to super time consuming anything. So that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, check them out, guys. We'll link it all up, and I guess it is called X now, so we're referencing X. But
Next,
speaking
I
about
still call it
formerly
Twitter, but yes,
Twitter, I know, same.
yeah,
But anyway, so people are clear. Okay, that's what we're
yeah,
talking about. Anyway, man, this has been awesome. Final question, Kriss. What does
yeah.
happy hustling mean to you?
It means ful- finding fulfilling work that I'm proud of, that I can tell my kids about and tell my family about, that I'm proud of this, that will generate wealth for all of us to have the freedom we want to do what we want to do. So after I get my day, we can go out and we can go on trips. I can get on my mountain bike. I can jump on the snowboard. It's about freedom, right? I can take off in the middle of Wednesday and just hit the slopes, or just goof off or take a nap. So it's freedom, and that means financial freedom and just time freedom.
Yeah, love it. Mic drop. Kriss Berg, y'all. Thank you for watching and
Thanks,
listening.
Gary.
We
This is
are
awesome.
out. Peace and love, everyone.